I can't move. I can't scream. I lay there, frozen, tears rolling off my cheeks. Hi, my name's Holly and welcome to my channel. What I do here is I share anonymous diary entries that are submitted to me. If you are interested in submitting, the details will be in the description. I also share entries on TikTok and Instagram, so be sure to follow both. This video is all about sleep. Obviously, insomnia is most talked about when it comes to sleep issues, but these entries are a bit different. They're more about sleep deprivation due to fear. Real, intense fear. I am so ready to read these entries because I am someone who has personally suffered from sleep paralysis. And let me tell you, it's no joke. The entire internet seems to joke about their sleep paralysis demon, and don't get me wrong, I think all of those jokes are funny, I laugh at them, but when you actually experience it, it's scary as hell. And if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, I will explain it later on in the video. I'll be reading 3 entries today, and the first one actually is not about sleep paralysis. The fear is actually from something else. Dear Diary, I have a fear. This great fear that one morning I won't wake up and that I'll die in my sleep. It could be defined as somniphobia, sleep anxiety, death anxiety, whatever people want to call it. But it keeps me up at night most of the time, unless I take a ton of melatonin to knock me out completely, where I can't fight off the sleep anymore. I start to fall asleep and my body will stop me, wake me up. It'll tell me it's not a good idea and that I will certainly die if I fall asleep, every single night. I need this fear to stop. I can't get it out of my head. I don't know who to tell, no one listens to me and no one takes me seriously. My parents will just brush it off, saying that I'm just on my phone too late and that's why I can't sleep. But it's deeper than that, and I can't help it. I could put my phone down at 10 p.m. and not fall asleep till 3 or 4 a.m. It's currently 2:25 a.m. while I'm writing this. I'm falling very behind in school and I am tired everywhere I go. Thank you for listening to my story and hopefully someone out there has advice for me. Much love, S. Thank you so much, S, for submitting. I personally have not experienced this, but I'm sure so many others have. I've heard that sleep issues are usually not about sleep and they're actually coming from some underlying anxiety about something else in your life or PTSD from past trauma. I don't know if that's true, especially in this situation because it's a whole fear of dying in your sleep, but I don't know. I obviously don't have a ton of advice to give, but what I will tell you is that you should not stop bugging your parents about this. I'm sure if your parents knew how serious the situation was, they would help you. It's just that some parents take a while to actually recognize a serious issue. And this doesn't mean that they're bad parents. It's just that their first instinct is to reassure you that you're fine and comfort you and say, oh, it's just this, nothing's wrong with you, like it's okay. But in this case, it's obviously not something to brush off. So you need to keep expressing that to your parents, and I feel like eventually they will come around. The next entry is about good old sleep paralysis. If you don't know what sleep paralysis is, I will tell you. It's basically when your body falls asleep before your brain, so essentially you're paralyzed, but you're awake and aware. The part of your brain that controls your reactions and mobility actually shuts down every single time you sleep, even when it's normal sleep. And this is so you don't act out your dreams. In sleep paralysis, this happens as normal, but your consciousness is still very active and aware. So you literally are paralyzed, you can't move, and you're completely aware of it. The problem is that your brain is also halfway into a dream state. And this is where the hallucinations come in, except now you're mixing the hallucinations with reality. So when it happens to me, I see my normal, real surroundings. So if it's a dark bedroom, I'm in my dark bedroom. Like I can feel my bed underneath me. I can see everything as is in real life. Except there's a tall, dark, shadowy figure man standing there, staring at me. So let's just read the entry about it. Let's go. Dear Diary, I haven't slept more than 3 hours a night in months. Some nights I'll be up until 9 a.m. I'm in constant pain, I can't think straight, my head is spinning, and I can't do anything about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I lay in my bed, hours on end, slightly wishing I was asleep, but too fearful to close my eyes. I want to sleep. I need sleep, but I'm terrified of the thought. It used to be easy to fall asleep, even if I was scared, but it turned into so much more. My body won't let me sleep. I'll take 3 times the dose of melatonin I'm supposed to, in hopes I would pass out without knowing it. I'm afraid to sleep because almost every time I try, I have sleep paralysis. I see a tall, shadowy demon sitting on the edge of my bed. Sometimes it gets in my face and stares. I can't move. I can't scream. I lay there, frozen, tears rolling off my cheeks. My mental health has dropped dangerously low. I need help. Sincerely, Elle. Thank you so much, Elle, for sharing, and believe me, I know your pain. When I first had it, and I will never forget this, I had a small, shadowy figure staring right at my face, right by my bed, and it was slowly reaching its hand out to my face, and its hand got this close. And I didn't know what sleep paralysis was. I've never had it, so I was seeing this thing, and I believed it to be 100% real, and I was paralyzed. Right after that, I stayed in the bathroom and cried for 3 hours. It is such an intense fear of the unknown, and you're completely helpless because you can't even run. For some reason, it always feels 150% real, even if you know what's happening to you. I mean, you really don't know fear until you've experienced this with little knowledge of what it actually is. When I looked into it more, I realized that everyone had an intruder. Almost everyone. They call it an intruder because it's someone coming into your space. It's not supposed to be there. I don't know why, but the word intruder is just so scary. What's your alien, demon? I don't know. Everyone says demon, but it's not always like that. It's just an intruder, which to me just sounds so much more scary because it's you don't know what it's going to be. You don't know what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like. But something's coming into your room and it's going to scare the hell out of you. I just thought it was absolutely insane that everyone kind of experiences a shadowy figure. Why are we all seeing the same thing? If I had known about sleep paralysis before it happened to me, I would have written it off as oh, well, I knew that other people were seeing shadowy figures, so my mind just kind of did the same thing. But I didn't. I literally have never heard of it when it happened to me, and that's why I was so freaking scared. And it's scary even if you know about it. But for the first few months as it started happening, I was calling it lucid dreaming because I literally just didn't even know. That's just mind-blowing to me that our brains do the same thing, and we can't control it, but our brains are us. The intruder that's coming to attack us, we make that up and we're scared of it. I'm going to read an entry at this point before I get too deep. Dear Diary, people call me overdramatic. They even go as far to say that I'm faking it, but I don't know how to tell them what I'm feeling. And to be honest, I don't even know myself. It feels as though there's an immense pressure on my chest 24/7. I suffer from sleep paralysis and I have had my demon since I was 8. I'm scared to tell my parents in case they say I'm faking this too. He usually sits in the corner of my room or sits at the end of my bed. I think that if I give him a name, he will seem less terrifying. I know for a fact that sleep paralysis is all an illusion and your own hallucinations, but there have been multiple nights where I have woken up with bruises on my neck. Sincerely, H. So this one is interesting, and this is where it just crosses the line for me. If this is true, and I mean, there is a possibility that, it could be, then I have to believe that there's something much darker going on here than just sleep paralysis. At this point, in my opinion, I think you should be seeking a couple different types of help here, like sleep doctor, therapist, and possibly Catholic priest. Just if this is happening to you, this is something you don't want to mess around with. I'm not trying to make any claims here, but let's say that your story is in fact true. You should take that seriously. As for normal sleep paralysis, I can kind of let you in on how I overcame it the best I could. I very soon realized that it always happens to me when I fall asleep on my back. Always, unless it's daytime or I'm sleeping right next to someone else. I also realized that if I do turn on my back for whatever reason, I naturally wedge my arm behind my back and make myself uncomfortable. It's just a natural reaction at this point. It's kind of funny. But I do it because I know that it's gonna happen if I fall asleep flat on my back. I read online that someone slept with a tennis ball in their back pocket because it would wake them up if they accidentally rolled on their back while sleeping. So I know the back thing applies to other people. I don't know if it will apply to you, but that's been like a huge thing for me. I also realized that laying on my back causes my breathing to slow, kind of as it does when I'm asleep, and my whole body becomes 5 times more relaxed. This obviously causes my body to shut down much faster, so that's something to consider. If you have a certain position where you kind of just doze off like right away, avoid that position because your body, your muscles, that part of your brain will shut down a lot faster than your actual mind, or whatever you want to call it, because it's all the same thing. Another trick that I'm sure almost everyone who suffers with this knows is focus on moving one small part of your body when it's happening. So your whole body's paralyzed. A lot of people will try to like move their whole body and like get up, and it's just ineffective. You should focus on, if anything, your index finger. I can't even tell you how many times I've woken up from this, like this being my first motion, because I'm focusing like all of my brain power on just moving this, because I know if I can move one part of my body, then the rest can start waking up. Now, when you do wake up, I'm sure everyone who has experienced this knows this. When you wake up, for some reason, it's still so easy to fall back into it. I personally have to sit up immediately or like turn on my stomach, because if I roll back into the same position, my body's like down again. And it can feel like you are getting up or trying to get up with a ton of bricks on your body. Your body is so heavy and it's so hard to get up and it's so scary. So be sure to move positions as soon as you wake up. Another tip that's kind of weird is using your breathing. So if you are around someone else and it happens, the one thing you can control to get their attention is your breathing. At least I'm able to. Sleep paralysis happened in my dorm room one night, and my roommate woke up with me sleeping, going because I was trying to wake her up. She failed and she didn't get up to shake me awake. I don't know what she thought I was doing, but I eventually woke up myself, and for some reason, hearing something that's like real in the room, aka my breathing, helps me to wake up. I don't know why, but you could even try it on yourself and see if that helps. The biggest thing that has helped me overcome it is having more knowledge of it and knowing what type of habits cause it. Learn what's causing you to fall into it over and over and try and avoid those habits. So that is all for this video. I hope it was entertaining. If you have any suggestions for topics, you can list them down in the comments. I probably have almost every topic covered within my submissions, so drop your recommendations down below for the next video. Be sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram, and of course subscribe here if you aren't already. And if you do want to submit, again, the details are down in the description. Thanks for listening. Bye.